Picture this. A 20-year-old from Quezon City. No qualifying grind. No sympathy wild card. Standing in a draw with the 4 best tennis players alive. Sabalenka. Rybakina. Gauff. Świątek. 1 bracket. 28 players. 0 easy matches. The chain of events that got her here reads less like a sports story and more like something a screenwriter would pitch and get laughed out of the room for. Qinwen Zheng, reigning Olympic champion, withdraws days before Stuttgart begins. One name moves off the alternate list into the main draw. That name is Eala. Some people hear that and say she got lucky. Fair enough. The timing is fortunate and there's no pretending otherwise. But here's what luck doesn't do. Luck doesn't put you at the top of an alternate list. Luck doesn't build the ranking that makes you first in line. That position was constructed brick by brick over 12 months that have quietly left the tennis world scrambling to catch up. To understand what's unfolding in Stuttgart this week, you have to go back to Miami. March 2025. She enters as a wild card ranked outside the top 70. No cameras tracking her warm-ups, no analysts pulling up her stats. Background noise in a tournament built around bigger names. Then she starts winning. Ostapenko. Gone. Then she's across the net from Iga Świątek, 5 Grand Slam titles, the undisputed queen of clay, a player who doesn't drop matches she's expected to win. Eala wins. Straight sets. Down 4-2 in the second and doesn't flinch. Doesn't tighten. Doesn't retreat. She just competes. At 19 years old. Only her second full season on tour. Something is here. The tennis world saw enough. 2026 arrives and the ascent continues, though not without turbulence. Because that's the honest version. Auckland. Semi-final. Encouraging. Australian Open. First round exit. Deflating. Then Dubai. And Dubai changes everything again. Jasmine Paolini, world number 8, French Open finalist, goes down 6-1, 7-6. Dismantled in under an hour in that first set. Eala's 3rd career top 10 victory. And not against someone phoning it in. She climbs to a career high of 29. The first Filipino player, man or woman, ever ranked inside the world's top 30. A country of over 100 million people. An entire history of the sport. And no one had done it. Not once. She does it like it's just another line on the schedule. Then the hardcourt swing ends. The tone of the conversation shifts. Indian Wells, round of 16. Miami 2026, round of 16 before running into Machova on what feels like the absolute worst possible day. 6-0, 6-2. That scoreline doesn't just sting. It echoes. Ranking slides back to 46. And now comes clay. Which has historically been where her game comes apart at the seams. The numbers are genuinely concerning. In 2023, 0 wins from 3 matches on clay. In 2024, 3 wins from 9 attempts. Last year, 2 wins from 6, including a first-round exit at her very first French Open. Red clay has never been kind to her. And the reasons are specific. Her game is built on aggression and timing. She wants to attack the ball early, hit through opponents with pace and depth. On hard courts where the bounce is clean and predictable, lethal. On clay the ball sits up higher. 3-shot rallies become 10-shot wars of attrition where patience and physicality matter as much as shot quality. The surface punishes the thing she does naturally. Her team knows it. She knows it. So she goes back to Mallorca. Back to the Rafa Nadal Academy. Back to the place she's called home since leaving the Philippines at 13 to chase a dream that seemed genuinely impossible. She trains with Tony Nadal. Rafael Nadal's uncle. The man who spent decades engineering the greatest clay court dominance the sport has ever produced. Sit with that image for a moment. A young woman from Manila working through footwork patterns and court geometry with the coach who built Nadal's Roland Garros dynasty. On the very courts where that dynasty was constructed. If a better classroom for clay court tennis exists on this planet, nobody has found it. She describes learning to feel the ball differently. To trust the slide. To read the bounce rather than fight it. Her movement, she says, feels better than a year ago. And when she talks about Tony Nadal, there's a weight to it that goes beyond gratitude toward a good coach. She knows exactly what she's been given access to. And exactly when. First test on clay, Linz. Indoor clay. Almost identical conditions to Stuttgart. Round 1, grab her. 6-4, 6-3. Composed. Controlled. Footwork sharper. Decision-making cleaner. Round 2, Ostapenko. 4th seed. Former French Open champion. Defending champion of this very tournament. On clay, a completely different animal. Eala doesn't read the memo. She comes out swinging. Takes the first set. Builds a 5-1 lead in the second. 2 games from forcing a deciding set against a defending champion, then something in the air shifts. Ostapenko with nothing left to lose starts swinging harder. Lines that have no business landing, land. 5-1 becomes 5-3. Then 5-4. Then 5-5. Then 6-5. Then 7-5. Match over. 6 points away. Gone. That kind of collapse can stay with a player for months if they carry it wrong. But here's what the numbers alone can't capture about Eala. She doesn't carry losses that way. Miami 2025. Down 4-2 in the second set against Świątek, the best player in the world. She doesn't tighten. She competes her way back and wins. She has been in genuine pressure moments against top 10 players multiple times. Her response is almost always identical. She gets bigger. The Linz loss stings, there's no softening that, but it hands her something valuable. She now knows her clay game can genuinely trouble a former Roland Garros champion. She knows the movement has improved enough to compete seriously on this surface. What she needs to develop is the ability to close. To maintain the intensity of a 5-1 lead rather than letting the comfort of it soften her edge. That's a mental skill as much as a physical one. And Stuttgart is where it gets tested next. The surface helps her. Indoor clay at the Porsche Arena plays faster than outdoor clay. The ball travels with more pace. Serves are harder to read. Aggressive players who seize the initiative early thrive here in ways they wouldn't at Roland Garros. That profile is Eala's profile. She wants to dictate. Move forward. Hit through opponents before they can set up. Indoor clay doesn't punish that approach the way Paris does. That's a genuine edge. In a draw that offers almost nothing else. Because the draw is, to say it plainly, brutal. Sabalenka, the most dominant force in women's tennis for 2 years. Rybakina, a serve among the most dangerous weapons in the sport on any surface. Świątek on clay, still the standard against which everyone else is measured. Gauff, tactically sharper than she's ever been. And beyond the top 4, Andreeva, Machova, Ostapenko the defending champion, Kvitova, Navarro, Fernandez, Mertens. Every single match in this bracket feels like a final. But here's what pure statistics don't reflect. Eala plays better when the stakes are higher. Her record against top 10 opponents carries more weight than her ranking suggests. She doesn't shrink in big moments. Something in her competitive makeup responds to pressure differently than most players her age. Maybe it comes from leaving home at 13. Moving to a foreign country. Navigating professional sport as a teenager while carrying the tennis hopes of 115 million people who had never had anyone to carry them before. Whatever the source, she plays with a freedom and a fearlessness that very few 20-year-olds ever find. Every match she plays is broadcast back home. Every win is front-page news. Every loss is analyzed across a country of over 100 million people who have invested themselves completely in this story. That kind of weight has broken talented athletes before. Turned promise into paralysis. Ambition into anxiety. Eala absorbs it. And converts it into fuel. Somewhere in the Philippines right now, millions of people are about to sit down in front of their screens for a week of tennis unlike anything their country has ever witnessed. Remember this moment. Remember the alternate who got in because an Olympic champion got injured. Remember when the odds were stacked, the surface was unfamiliar, and the draw was impossibly difficult. Because if Eala's story has taught us anything, those are exactly the moments she was built for. Subscribe now. Stuttgart starts and every match this week is a story. Don't miss a single one.